So hello my dear brothers and boys, today we're going to unite Russia as a small almighty Don host. Yeah, you heard me right, today Cossacks are going to unite Russia. And believe me, it's gonna be a truly interesting pass. So without further ado, let us unite Russia once again. Oh yeah, and I really want to stop being a German lapdog, cause that's who we are right here and right now. So the almighty Don host, and yeah, I don't think that Krasnov will bring back our lost glory because he's just a German lapdog. And remember that Cossacks are free people, and they don't like lapdogs, especially a German one. Oops, a Berlin stock crisis comes to the Don Republic. As predicted, the Don's finances and economy are in deep crisis. The average Cossack faces problems selling his products and the number of factories are closing. This means that various dangerous elements will have a greater impact upon the political landscape of the Cossacks country. May God save us from the worst. Oh no, strikes have swept Donbass. The largest strike commenced in Taganrog and soon spread to Rostov, with dockers and sailors from the Black Sea Fleet joining the protests. The situation was dire, prompting Ataman Krasnov to travel to the affected areas to demonstrate the government's commitment to resolving the crisis. While in such a situation, I think that we should choose the first option. Let us demonstrate that we are no foes of the working class. Oops. Unexpectedly, the assassination of the Ataman Krasnov. What a lose, that was unbelievable. Anyway, African Bagaevsky becomes the leader of the authoritarian Democrats. You could previously see him as our field marshal. This man looks like a true Cossack. Glory to our new Ataman, African Bagaevsky. Oh no, Kalmykia attempts to secede. We shall take them down. We should deal with traitors as fast as possible. Kalmykia will be destroyed. No time for precautions, it's time to reach Elista in a few days. As our Ataman promised, their capital was captured in a few days. So the aftermath of the Rostov massacre. In the case of the Rostov massacre, Ataman Krasnov has been killed and Bagaevsky became his temporary successor. However, the Cossacks' position is far from stable. The socialists are already taking the streets, the Vlasovists are trying to confront them, and the German garrison is preparing to restore their influence at any cost. Novotcherkassk is soon to fall into total chaos. The situation is close to catastrophic, however, Bagaevsky defeats the rebels, as he showed himself pretty good in defeating Kalmyks. The true power in our state belongs only to Ataman Bagaevsky. And as a result of our previous decisions, Bagaevsky is elected as an Ataman. Welcome back, Kalmykia. Now we are stronger than ever before because Cossacks have shown themselves as a true power in this state. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the population of our beloved state is only 2.5 million of people. That is a bit less than in Georgia or Azerbaijan, but still more than in Yerevan. Being a Kazakh republic is not enough for us. We need to move deeper. We need to rebuild the Russian Empire. So we need to choose the first option, the joint Kazakh front. Alone, no Kazakh host has resisted the tides of Bolshevism and chaos. By uniting the Don host with other Kazakh hosts, we can form a unified front to defend our people and safeguard the autonomy of the Cossacks. All we want is a freedom for Cossacks in a newly formed Russia. But before doing everything that we plan, we need an economic recovery. It will make us more stable and less dependent from Germans. Oh yeah, take a look at my fabulous alliance, Union of Cossack Hosts, but unfortunately I am the only one member of this alliance. What should you do in any bad situation? Of course, increase taxes. Honestly, it was kinda expected. The next step in our internal policy is forming the Supreme Circle of Cossacks. It's a local variation of parliament, so that's a good thing. The Supreme Circle of Cossacks, elected from representatives of all our member Cossacks hosts, must become the governing body that will determine our common struggle against enemies of our motherland. Now we are making our first true steps to unite Russia, because forming a united government is a good thing for doing that. Let's attempt to unite Kuban Cossacks into our alliance. Unexpectedly, they have accepted my suggestion. Cossacks shall stay united. Well, now we can ally with them. We've got some great news. Kuban's People's Republic has joined the Union of Cossacks hosts. Now we're not alone. Well, if we want to become a federated republic, we shall work towards the federal framework. A new age shall dawn upon these proud lands, one where every citizen, oblast and minority shall be properly represented and given justice within our governance for the motherland. May it last for 1,000 years. That's a great decision in case if we want to unite our country and make people inside of it united. Wait, does they want to form yet another Russia, however this time in Central Asia? I don't know who do you support, but I hope we'll work together. Meanwhile, the so-called Russian Republic has elected Social Democrats as their ruling party. I bet that they won't build a strong state with a social democratic rule. What an easy option to get a few civilian factories. The bad news are coming from the north. A fake Russia is being reborn. Well, in such a case, I think that we should better prepare for this war against Moscow, so we need to secure the south, and that will help us a lot, as their resources and people are gonna be our people and our resources. So, any last words, Vladikavkaz? Oh, well, so they have rejected my ultimatum. Well, it means that we are going to defeat them with our Kazakh forces. We are finally making our first steps into capturing them. Yeah, so only one division is way more enough to take them down. What about you, Kuban? It's time to annex you. You have signed a great peace with me, so now I'm going to annex you. And Kuban is going to be integrated as well. And now we can finally proclaim the Don-Caucasian Union, so let's do it and make a first step to unite Russia. Now that looks interesting because we have changed not only our flag but our name as well. Now that's a classical Don-Kuban Union that we saw a few years ago in Kaiserreich. So we're finally back on the world stage. And now the population of our union is 10 million people, which is enough to conquer the entirety of Russia. Oh no, Russia announces her ambitions. That's not good for us, to say the least. Excuse me? Kingdom of Ukraine is justifying the war goal against us? Excuse me, bro, that's none of your business. I'm dealing against Russians and I'm going to fight against them, not against you. Well, it looks like we've got a new ally in the Reichspakt known as Azerbaijan, and the local Hitler is still ruling it. Why do I like this power positioning? Well, because it guarantees that Russians won't take me down from behind, so the only front line I have is this one right in front of us. It happened earlier than I expected it to be, but nevertheless, Russia demands Don-Caucasian Union, and of course, we will never accept the demands from the fake Russian Republic. We reduce their demands. Go away from my land, occupant. On 12th of October 1937, the Russian Republic decided to declare war on me. As you may see, the Russians are trying to attack me, but all of their attacks are unsuccessful, even though they have a total domination in the air. That's only because I have enough divisions to cover the entire front line with my cavalry. I think that Cossacks are definitely cooking in this campaign. Of course, not without some hard points, but the situation is pretty fine as most of the bubbles are green one. And if you take a look at the casualties, you can see that more Russians have died than my Cossacks did. However, even in such a place, we have almost stabilized the situation. And an additional 6 divisions of a new general have to make sure that this front line won't be red once again. Finally they decided to attack someone else except me. This time it's gonna be Mongolian Khaganate under the rule of Roman von Ungern-Sternberg. Good luck, Roman. In my opinion, we should sit in a defense like this one for a couple of years, only to get a chance to push forward to Moscow. Yeah, that's the only way to deal with them. I captured an insanely good moment to liberate Volgograd, so let's attempt to do that. Yes, boys, we did it! We have liberated Volgograd. Now we need to take this division down and we will receive an amazing front line for my future operations. Because now the opportunities to attack me are way lower than they used to be, and Volgograd is one of the most important Russian cities. Wait, when did you manage to start the war against Al-Asharda? Nevertheless, it's pretty good for us because the more countries are fighting with Russians, the more chances we get to capitulate them. Congratulations boys, Astrakhan is ours. At this point we have defeated almost 500,000 Russians, and they don't really show any achievements on the front line. The front line stays the same, and at some point it has gone in our favor, like Astrakhan and Volgograd. I have organized a small offensive on this part of the front line, just to make sure that my forces can advance into the deeps of Russia. And also to make sure that they won't concentrate too much forces on a single piece of our front. Finally, we will boost our mobilization rate, which will allow us to get one more troops into our army. Whoa, we did it! It is the first encirclement of the Russian forces here in this campaign. So the front line on the Kazakh direction was successfully broken. Our next stop is Guriev along with Uralsk and Samara, cause these cities are the main logistic hubs of this region. Wait, what? The Ukrainian state declared war on the Russian Republic? What the hell is going on in the Eastern Europe? If Germany joins this war, well, then the Russians are cooked. Oh my god. Yes, the German Empire has joined this war. No time for precautions, it's time to push into the depths of Russia. Check this out, 5 Russian divisions were encircled near Orda. I think that we've got an amazing opportunity to encircle lots of forces in this cauldron. Oh my god, we almost did it, we made an insane encirclement in Russia, and along with that we did a little encirclement right here. I guess that my next stop is gonna be Yekaterinburg. There is also a great chance to encircle even more forces, so let's do it. No time for precautions, it's time to encircle Russians. Congratulations, Brudas, we have established yet another encirclement in Russia. I still can't believe that Germans are now fighting against the Russian Republic. That's the biggest gift of fate I could ever receive. As you may see, Russian frontline is totally broken because they don't have any divisions to close up our offensive. Only a few divisions are left on our main front line. Also, to achieve all the needed results, we need to take Petrograd and Moscow at any cost. I got it. Whoa, we have even encircled Russian tanks in Kazakhstan. I don't know, can I surprise you with our encirclements or not, but let me show you the Foreman encirclement near Ryazan. Are they kidding me? So these 2 divisions were staying in Moscow and they decided to move into Orekhovo-Zuyeva, maybe to encircle our forces, I don't know, but anyway, now the Moscow is free and we can move right into it. On 16th of May 1939, we see the fall of Moscow. The heart of the fake Russian Republic is now ours. Oh, well, it looks like Petrograd is encircled both by German and Finnish forces. Brudas, that is a total victory for us, cause I had enough victory points to conquer all the lands of the Russian Republic, so it is all mine now. Not a single piece of the Russian land was stolen. Excuse me? I can't push this focus further because I don't have Union of the Cossacks host? Are you kidding me? How am I supposed to get it? Okay guys, so we did everything right. We have united Russia, we have conquered Moscow and Petrograd, however there is one small sin. So I spent around 15 minutes trying to check this event and what has gone wrong with this, and I found out that If you annex Kuban, the national spirit called Union of the Kazakh Host disappears. Does that mean that we had to save Kuban for the rest of the game only to unite Russia with this event? It doesn't smell right. So I guess that the best way to complete it is to use some magic. Now we are aiming to establish a Kazakh-led Russia. The Kazakh's host shall lead Russia into a new era of stability and strength, guided by the traditions of the frontier and the unity of its people, and what will be known as the Transitional All-Russian Government. Sounds interesting. What about the Alasharda? Of course we will assimilate it into the Don-Caucasian territory. Finally, brothers, the Cossacks unite Russia. The Kazakh people have long been one of the more oppressed groups within Russian society. Following the rise of the Kerensky government, many of their natural rights and freedoms were threatened, leading to the Donkuban region of Russia breaking off. However, following the unifying policies of the Cossacks, Ottomans, who were able to unite most Cossacks hosts, the Russian Republic has fallen. With the strong martial traditions of the Cossack behind them, this new Russian state won't be going any false direction. The Cossacks will restore order. You know, the color of this Russia seems to be pretty fine. I like it. And in August 1939, the Federation of the Communes of France declared war on the German Empire. I wish luck to no one because all of them are traitors. The next step in our internal policy is the decision of our future rule. Are we gonna be democracy under guidance, or we are gonna be devoted subjects of the Tsar? I want to check both of these passes to decide which one is better. First we'll try democracy, and then we will try getting the Tsar back. Supreme ruler of Russia. Glory to the supreme ruler of Russia known as African Bagaevsky. Yeah, African Bagaevsky, the supreme ruler of Russia. Now we are also known as the Russian state. Out of all alliances and countries that surround me, the Republic of Turkestan looks like an amazing opportunity to expand Russia down into the Central Asia. Cause we've got no chances to do so in Eastern Europe or Caucasus. And the Far Eastern Republic of Transamur is still too far to be captured, and I should better give Mongolians a chance to destroy them. So that's why Republic of Turkestan is my perfect enemy. The new Russian Tsar. Oh well, it's just a boring Russian monarchist pass where we can choose anyone we want to, so let's try to pick, I don't know, Andrei the First. If I recall correctly, he was a friend of Mikhail, so he's a good guy. He was technically one of the best possible options for Russian monarchy after 1917. However, restoring the Russian Empire isn't the best pass because we got rid of African Bagaevsky, so no, I'm coming back to the Russian state. Yeah, African Bagaevsky as a ruler of Russia seems to be way cooler than just an average Russian Tsar, especially including the fact that we, the people of Novocherkassk and the Cossacks, have united Russia, so we are the people who will rule it. But before solving the question of Reichspakt, I think that we should better restore the Russian army. Because we still have enough debuffs that are weakening our country. Oh, so I don't even need to justify the war goal against the Republic of Turkestan, as I have an amazing opportunity to attack them. Let's do it! Case of socialists and revolutionaries. Well, I don't want to lose my party popularity and stability, so we need people under our control, and the socialist resistance is gonna be significantly damaged, so that's pretty good. Fun fact, now our faction is called Союз Возрождения России, or in English it sounds like the Union of Russian Rebirth. I can't actually remember our previous name, but nevertheless, that's who we are right here and right now. The same will be done with liberals, they will be people under our control. After taking a look at the situation on the front line, where the Commune of France fights with the Germans and the Latin Union, which consists of Austro-Hungarian Empire and the Kingdom of Spain along with France, I decided that the time has come to fix the Minsk mistakes. Let us be candid, Russia was betrayed when the dismembered carcass of the empire was cast at the feet of the Prussian war machine. Minsk was a misstep, and it's imperative that we rectify this ignominy without delay. Don't forget that we are not Krasnov, we are not the German lapdog. We shall get back most of our lands at any cost. So, any last words, Turkestan? We will take it down in a few weeks. On 2nd of December 1939, Tashkent was liberated from the forces of Turkestan. They've got literally zero chances to stand against us. Bye bye, Turkestan. Congratulations, my dear Kazakh friends, not a single piece of the Turkestan land was given to the Kingdom of Afghanistan. That's a true victory of a newly formed Russian state. My next enemy is of course going to be Iran, because it took a part of Turkmenistan and now we need to liberate those lands out of Pers. Goodbye, Persia, and that's only because you stole my lands. We can raise up a equation of Belarus. Of course, let's do it. I want to get my Belarus back. Alright, so we've got a few options to solve the equation of the Kingdom of White Ruthenia. The first and the second option are not good for us, so we should choose between the first and the third one. Well, in my opinion, let's try to invest in a pro-Russian coup and Kingdom of White Ruthenia, and if it doesn't work, I think that, we should pick the third option. Maybe it will work if the first one doesn't. Cause if we break at least one country in Eastern Europe, then all the rest one will fall pretty easily. Oh my god, so coup has succeeded in Belarusian National Republic. That's sick. Congratulations, minus one country in the Reichspakt. So, any last words? Iran. Our next step is of course going to be Tehran. Yeah, I know that Iran struggles to stop our forces, however, it is still too far away from capitulation because we need to get another 35 victory points to cook it. Now all of these territories are gonna be mine, just like Armenia, which is going to be my enclave in Caucasus. Yeah, everything is mine now, and you shouldn't get a single piece of it, Kingdom of Georgia and Azerbaijan. The fate of Armenia, of course, reintegration waits for the Armenian lands. However, what about Persia? I'm sure that we can liberate it. Mr. Hassan, I'm not an occupant, I just want you to play as I want to. I'm not a bad guy, I just want to get all of my lands back. You see, we didn't steal anything from you. Just in a few months, a newly formed Russian state has liberated lots of lands and the entire Central Asia. Now we shall justify the war goal against Belarus because the time has come to conquer it. And it will take us only 125 days to do so. In a few months, this little European country is gonna become a rightful part of the Russian state. As you probably see, 100% of our army is cavalry. Only cavalry can save Russia and restore the full order of its territories as of 1914. Glory to cavalry, glory to horses. Goodbye, Belarus. It's time to punish the traitors and get back the Russian rule to the Minsk. Yeah, everything is going pretty fine. So the Belarus defense was broken just in a few days and no one is defending Minsk, which means that Minsk is gonna be captured in 3 or even 4 days. Their front line has totally crashed. Wait, how did I manage to start the war against the Ottoman Empire? Oh my god, that's because of the Straits. I didn't want to do that, but now I don't have any chance to escape it. Without a doubt, the Ottoman question has to be solved, so maybe it is the best opportunity to do that. Meanwhile, Belarus is one step away from capitulation. So, you're mine now. The fate of White Ruthenia, of course, it is going to be reintegrated to Russia. And now it's time to deal with the Ottomans. They've got no chance to stand against my army. The 13 Russo-Turkish war is going to be the final one, and Cossacks will put the final nail into this coffin, the Ottoman coffin. I think that we're going to establish our own Ottoman Empire, or maybe even a Turkish Republic. Nothing and no one can stop my horses from riding to Ankara and then Constantinople. A few Ottoman divisions were encircled in Caucasian mountains. Right now I'm making our front line as wide as possible so more forces can concentrate on this short front line and take down the Ottomans as fast as possible. The wider the front line, the more problems the Ottomans have. Mom, I would like to buy an Ottoman Empire. No son, we have an Ottoman Empire at home. The Ottoman Empire which Mom told you about. As you may see, it's not an occupation. Yeah, we have disabled the Ottoman Empire, but instead of it, we have built a new Turkish Republic, which has the same territories as the Ottoman Empire used to have before the war with the Russian state. The situation on the western front line has drastically changed, so it means that we need to enter the Second Weltkrieg and take down Vienna, Schnitzel and Berlin beer. It also means that the borders of the Russian Empire of 1914 have to be restored at any cost. In April 1941, the time has finally come to join the Second Weltkrieg and clear the Eastern Europe out of traitors. So let's take down the Lithuanian state. So the Russian state has declared war on the Kingdom of Lithuania. Oh yeah, now we're fighting against the German Empire as well. Well, that's gonna be a true mess. However, Ukrainians don't have enough forces on the front line, so I've got an amazing opportunity to get as much land as I can. Wait, does Finland want to defend itself? Cause I don't see any forces of Finland on the front line. So, any last words? Finnmark. It looks like we are encircling Kiev. Huh? Königsberg was taken like it was nothing. Man, I forgot about the Caucasus. Oh my god, what the hell is happening in Ukraine? I think that we should better progress towards Berlin, rather than stay and do nothing in Estonia. Wait, is that a so-called Donbass cauldron? So Ukraine has capitulated alone with the Caucasus, and the only serious country that is left is the German Empire. My next stop is gonna be Bulgaria, cause they are doing everything to ruin our great expansion. In my opinion, it's a true blitzkrieg because we have reached Sofia just in a week. Oh well, the German front line is also broken. In September 1941, the Reichspakt has successfully collapsed, and the Kaiserreich is about to fall. So that's how the Eastern Europe was divided. However, I don't agree that this part of Germany didn't come to me. However, with the rest of it, I totally agree. Now I have to take part in this war and take at least Galicia, Lodomeria into my sphere of influence. And now the time has come to punish the Austrian eagle. Wait, are you seriously? Military occupation of Prussia is the only option? Well, I think that Russia has established its new borders, and it includes all of the modern-day Poland. The remnants of the Latin Union are in a huge trouble because they're fighting not only against the Third International and Morocco, but also against the Cairo Axis in which Morocco has joined. Duty is now in a double trouble. And after the capitulation of the French national state, we're going to divide the lands of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And I didn't forget about you, Mongolia. I'm just waiting when you will capitulate Transamur. Wait, now I can establish the East Prussia. Now we've got the Prussian Socialist Republic on the west with the capital in Berlin, and the East Prussian province with the capital in Königsberg. Well, I'm not able to pronounce his name, but we got the point that Adolf is a new ruler of East Prussia. Mongolia, Mongolia, my lovely Mongolia, thank you so much for doing all the work for me, because taking for Eastern Republic of Transamur would take lots of time. However, it doesn't mean that we won't enter Urga and the rest of the Mongolian territory, so yeah, any last words, pal? I just want to liberate Tanutua. So in 30 days we're going to attack the Mongolian Khaganate and finish down the hordes in Asia. Well, because of the latest update of the Kaiserredux, now the Japanese Empire is known as the Kingdom of Liberia, and that's not a joke. However, the focus through line has stayed the same, so I think that it's only the change of their name instead of the whole country. What a cool man is ruling Central American Republic. Just in a few days, one horse riders are going to fight against the other horse riders. So the great trail of horse riders has started. The Russian state declared war on the Mongolian Khaganate. Let's go, my dear Cossacks, cause we need to show this body who is the only one rightful horse rider in this universe. And alone with that, we will liberate far eastern Cossacks from the Mongolian oppression. Whoa, 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 the fall of Algiers. That means that French national state is going to capitulate in a few weeks or months. Without a doubt, we will say goodbye to Philippe Pétain. That is the final days of his regime in Constantine, a new version of Constantinople. Within a few days, Urga is going to be liberated from Ungarn and his bands. So the time has come to divide the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and I would really like to do that. The only few territories I got from these partitions are Western Galicia and the territory of Slovakia, along with Transcarpathian Ruthenia. That looks fair enough considering how much power did I put into conquering it. And don't forget that I'm going to fight against the Kingdom of Romania and Republic of Poland, as they are the rightful part of my Russian state. So after dealing with Mongolians, we're going to deal with those guys. Here is my first good encirclement of Mongolian horses in Chita. Poland demands Galicia? Never! We will never give it to you. Did you forget that you are the rightful part of the Russian Empire? Bro has 5 divisions and he wants to tell us something about a military expansion and demands. You know, Poland is just Poland. Wait, excuse me? Poland decided to declare war on me? Are you serious? Well, I guess I need to move some forces on the west. Yeah, they have called Romania into this war and now it's a big problem. Cause they've got around 50 divisions. Never mind, I'm going to deal with them and take everything I want to. Now Mongolians are only a few steps away from capitulation, and that's pretty good for us because we need to capture their territory as fast as possible and then move to the Europe to defeat Romania and Poland. So, do you want to attack me now, Romania and Poland? Because now you're gonna struggle and struggle a lot. Cause we are marching towards Warsaw. Bye bye, Poland. And now it is your turn, Romania. Finally, we defeated those damned Mongolians who didn't want to capitulate before the last part of it is captured. Nevertheless, now I'm going to annex Mongolia, Tibet and Maklik, which is pretty nice, because now the half of China is under my control. Now that is a way better look than one that we used to have. So Romanians managed to renew the Polish statehood, but they can defend their own one. What a tragic comedy. So the time has come to divide the Balkan boys. And I guess I've got some territories for trade with the Western communards. Ugh, what a great man with a fantastic mustache is a new ruler of Hungary. Oh yeah, that's the post-war borders of Europe. Here we have established a little Slovakia, Romania and Kingdom of Hungary. Oh yeah, Poland? Never heard of it. And now Mongolia is a rightful part of the Russian Empire, just as Eastern Turkestan. Yeah, now we have a small border with India. And the rest of the Chinese lands are now governed by the Beijing government, which doesn't have Beijing as its capital, and furthermore, it doesn't have Beijing as its territory. It's like calling yourself a Rome government without ever controlling Rome. Nevertheless, in 6 years, Cossacks have restored a great Russian state, in borders that are better than ones we had in 1914, cause now it includes Galicia and some more lands in Asia. Now the population of our newly formed Russian state is almost 230 million of people. Well, that is way more than in the United States, but still less than in India and China. And don't forget about my sphere of influence, which is really big, as it includes a major part of Eastern Europe, Turkey, Persia, and some parts of China. Could you form it without Cossacks and our horse horde? Of course not. All of that has happened only because of the horses from Don-Kuban Union, as they are responsible for such a restoration. Glory to Cossacks and glory to our beloved vozhd African Bagaevsky, the supreme ruler of Russia.